Edward here from EFViewer.com. I have another video for you. I had just gotten some feedback today on a session project that I had completed in May of this year. The target, my friend Keith Dawson, fellow remote viewer, crypto friend, sent me a target reference number and asked me if I'd be willing to do a session. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. I did this session on May 8th. I have the scan timestamp here. May 9th is when I scanned in the session and I sent it to Keith. So that's my timestamp from May 8th, May 9 of this year. The Q, projects 9667-7464. Describe the most distinguishable feature of the next cryptocurrency to be listed to Coinbase. The viewer will pay close attention to the coin logo as well as any other supporting information that will assist in accurately associating the remote viewing session with the correct coin. So that was the cue. I was completely blind to any of the tasking or anything. I had no idea what I was being asked to remote view. I did a full session here, including a stage 6 clay modeling. This was my stage 6 clay model. And this was my session here. Kind of go into it here. I'm kind of getting some lines coming through. This kind of triangular things going on here in my head. Intersecting lines. Covering over your layer on top of these crisscrossing lines. Getting all these lines going on all over the place. This kind of mechanical server looking thing, which is interesting, and I'm going back into this thing here. So I go into a drawing of it, and then I move into a stage 6. This is what I'm getting here, these kind of spots here with these intersecting lines, and these lines coming through it here. That's what I was getting as my target. Oops, let me get over here. This is the logo. After the session, I sent it over to Keith. He was wondering, oh, it kind of looks like Ethereum Classic. Here's the logo for Ethereum Classic here. It's kind of a side by side. Here's Ethereum's logo, and here's Ethereum Classic's logo. So he was, after I had sent him to the session, he sent me the feedback, or at least the cue. He was saying, well, it looks like Ethereum Classic, maybe the one here. Looks pretty close. He just sent me an email today, August 16th. Ethereum Classic jumps 15% ahead of today's Coinbase launch. Ethereum Classic is reporting double digits ahead of an anticipated listing on the Coinbase exchange for buying, trading, and selling. So that looks like some feedback from a session that was done back in May, looking at the next crypto to be added to Coinbase. Kind of cool. I haven't been doing much of any of the crypto stuff lately, but this was some cool feedback. I like that feedback. That looks pretty close to me. Intersecting lines, these kind of circular things with this triangular shape. Don't have this kind of middle one going up here, but that's close enough for me. I'll buy that. After the session, he was saying it looked like we were looking at Ethereum Classic. So we were right. There's some good feedback. I got the Patreon pages up and going. I got content loaded on there. You know, the Patreon is kind of like my hangout, where I can go in there and record myself talking, looking at some of my old work, going over stuff, expanding on it, looking at older stuff from my current perspective, doing new stuff, adding a lot more commentary on there, exploring. That's what the Patreon site is for me. It is my laboratory, my video laboratory for exploring the process as far and deeply as I can. I'm also going to have more interviews on there. I'm getting some interviews lined up with some different people. Not necessarily remote viewers, just outside of the box creative people. And where I can really go into a deep exploration of their creative process, where they feel their creativity is welling from, their inspiration, their curiosity, getting into these areas of their brain, of their mind, to explore where this stuff comes from, because I believe that when we're going and having a remote viewing experience, either a dimensional sensation or in remote viewing terms of bilocation, or some deep curiosity is triggered, it's being triggered in the same part of the brain where these creative endeavors and these creative inspirations come from. So I want to delve into people's brains, into their minds, and explore how they experience creativity, how they experience curiosity and inspiration. So those things are coming more to the Patreon page. So for those who are interested in taking that journey with me, go ahead and sign up. I appreciate all the folks who have already signed up. Greatly appreciate it. Many more to come. And that's it for this one. And stay tuned.